What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to talk about 10 things plus a bonus tip to help you with a successful lawn care business. So let's go ahead and get started. Number one is the string trim line on your trailers. For those of you that have utility trailers like me, most of you guys are storing your string trimmer on your trailer somewhere, just like on one of those spindles, and it works amazing. But here's the thing that I've noticed over the years. Number one being, sometimes people will be out on a yard and then they run out and they got to stop. And they either have to carry their string trimmer all the way to their trailer, or they have to run all the way to their trailer and they have to cut some line and bring it back. So one thing you can do is when you're at your trailer or the night before, you can actually make up a bunch of bundles for yourself. That's what I do. That's what saves me a whole bunch of time, is either the morning of or the night before. What I'll do is I'll get a whole bunch of little rolls. And the easiest way to do it is you pull the string trim, you go one, let me stand back. So you just pull it one time, so you gotta do that 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then cut it. And then what you do is you just spool that up, and then you can use like 2 small pieces of tape if you want to, or some other kind of method to clamp that together. And then that's one. And just make up a couple of those. Make up a few, like 6, 7, 8, 10. Make up like a big old Ziploc bag full of them if you want to. But what that does is that eliminates that tedious time of you stopping what you're doing and running out to the car, the trailer. It stops you from being like idle at your trailer, because you want to stay away from that busy road or wherever it is that you're parked, because you obviously don't want to hurt yourself. So that's one thing on my list. And then also, I don't keep my string trimmer on my trailer because it's plastic. And what happens when plastic is outside in the elements, maybe it's in the moisture, and it's just getting hit by the sun 8 to 10 hours a day? It's gonna get brittle. And when you have an entire roll of line just sitting outside baking in the sun for 8 to 10 hours every single day, and for most of us, we just leave it on our trailer overnight. So if it's getting rained on, it's when you're driving down the road, the wind's hitting it, it's vibrating the crap out of it, the water splashing up on it, the dirt's hitting it, like it's making it brittle. So what I would suggest is to make up a bunch of those little rolls, bring those with you, and then take your extra spool that you have, throw that in the front seat of your car, your truck, your van, whatever it is that you use for your lawn care business. Just take that whole roll as backup, because you're going to use those mini ones, those mini ones while you're working. So just take that whole spool, throw it in your front seat. Leave a comment down below on what string trim that you guys use. Number 2, organize your receipts. So for those of you that do this for a side hustle, for a side gig, maybe some under the table cash, this may not really pertain to you. Or maybe you want to make a future video for your YouTube channel and you want to have receipts showing how much money you made or where you make the most money. The more organized you are, the easier it is going to be for you to make money. For instance, I keep all my receipts pretty much itemized. Like, I have separate receipts for lawn care maintenance and then oil changes versus my car's maintenance and oil changes, and like what I use gas wise, because when it comes to tax season, they're going to ask you, because I do my taxes myself, they're going to ask you all these things. They're going to, for deductions wise, they're going to want to know what you used. Another thing that I seen was people would use a spreadsheet and they'll keep track of their receipts that way. Also, if you use TurboTax will actually link to certain accounts, certain bank accounts. Maybe if you use Jobber, maybe if you use some of those other lawn care services apps, you can actually download that and they'll itemize everything for you. So stay organized. And that can mean a lot of things. When you're talking about organization, like, what does the back of your truck look like? If one of your guys or you needs to get a certain tool, like a Phillips screwdriver, like, how long does it take them to go to your truck? Are they spending 5 minutes, 10 minutes looking for a screwdriver? That's not productive, That takes away the hourly rate that you're trying to get to. Like if you're trying to make $120 an hour and you got a guy spending $20 on getting a screwdriver, you know, you have to ask yourself, if I was to just take an extra hour every single week and just reorganize my stuff and make sure everything has a place. Staying organized is crucial and it helps out so much. Okay, so number 3 is going to be one of the ways, and I would say 99% of what I use to stay organized as a lawn care company, as a successful lawn care company, I might add. And it's this app right here called Lawn Buddy. And of course it's loading. But here it is. Well, that's not the screen I wanted to show you. Here's the customers. So this app right here holds, you can put in, and it's free, you can put in the customer's name, first name, last name, their business, their phone number, their fax, if they have a fax, emails. You can put in job descriptions. Like, you could break everything down, so it's amazing. So for instance, let's say I got Dan, one of my clients. I put Dan and then his last name and then an email if he has one, if he wants to, and then I put in his direct phone number, and then there's also a space for 2 other phone numbers. And then what I'll do is I'll put weekly mowing, and then ask for notes if you want to put any notes in there. Like maybe you can write he uses a push mower, or he string trims once every 2 weeks. Like there's a note section in there so that if you pull it up you can read. Okay. And then you can also set what dates you want mowed. So let's say he starts on April 1st and it's a weekly service. So you can actually get that thing to the work order to, I wonder if I have any pulled up. I shouldn't, but excuse me. So you go over here to this little tab. I don't know if you can see that, where it says jobs. And there actually is a couple on here. So this one says overdue, and it was due on January 1st, 2024. But that's because I have it reoccurring every week. And John Poland, it says, is actually one of my snow accounts. But we'll get to that in a minute. So what I'll do is I'll just click on it, and then it can tell you, it'll have the address for you if you want to pull them up. And then you can remember the preference if you want, but I already know where he is, so I don't need to. But that's if you click on the date. But if you click on his name, you can see his first and last name. You can see his address. You can see job description. It says snow removal. I don't know if you can see that. You can also put in the notes, what I did is it says 2 inches or more and salt. So every 2 inches of snow, we're out here shoveling or getting rid of the snow out of his driveway. And then we're also putting down some salt. And then it's got the start date and the end date. And this one's snow removal, so this one's a little bit different from my lawn care. But also for the price, it's got $50, as you can tell. Every single time I go out there and take care of a snow, $50. And you can set the reoccurring. And right here I have it at every month, and that's why it says overdue on the front part. But it's not every month. It's when the snow's coming down. And right now it's 50 degrees out and sunny, and it has been the last 3 weeks, so we're not doing any snow removal. And then if you want, before or even after, you can add some photos. Because what you can do is after you're done, you can come over here and you can complete the job. And then as soon as you complete that job, it goes in there and it saves. And what you want to do, what you can do is you can click on their name right there, and then it gives you a breakdown of when they're going to do it. You can see all the completed orders you have. You can see where their properties are, if you did any estimates. But what I use this for is I can create an invoice, which is amazing. And I can put in the total. I can add tax if I need to. I can apply a late fee if I need to. I can pass a service fee on to him if for some reason, like let's say John said, hey Brian, can you pick up my fence that's in the backyard? And I'll be like, hey, no problem. Usually I wouldn't charge for anything like that, but some of you might charge extra, and you can pass that fee on, or you can add that to the total. And then what you do on here is the due date for when it's due, and then you can actually add items. You can add an item, like I just told you, like I picked up fence. Like you can actually type that in, and you can add the job, And where you add the job is what we just said, when you complete like the snow removal, that's when you go in and you can actually click on the jobs that you completed. So if he's a weekly mow and at the end of the month, I want to come in here and I want to add the 4 or 5 mows that I did, I don't have to add each one individually. They're already saved in here. So you can see the dates. So let's say April 1st, and then the next week, and the next week, the next week, and I just click on them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it adds them to this. And then John, when I send this to him, he can see a total breakdown of what day I was there, what time I finished, how much he's being charged for each one of them. So, and then you can also put in some notes. You can also put in some internal notes for yourself. I don't know if maybe you want to write something like, hey, I did 2 inches this week, so next week we're going to bump it up to 2.5, or vice versa, whatever you want to do. And again, you can add photos. And then you can send this to them. Excuse me. And that's amazing, because everything that you write in here and everything that you do, it's going to end up saving it for the future. So when you're sending out all these invoices, and when you're trying to come up and do your taxes at the end of the year, all of it's there and it's all organized. Lawn Buddy. LAWBUDDY, and you've seen what the app looks like. Lawn Buddy. This thing has been phenomenal. And I think for a small fee of like $5 or $6 a month, you could get their pro service, which I have found is not needed. And what the pro service will do is you can use their estimate app, so you can put in estimates, and you can send those to the clients too. And then you can also do it'll pick your route for you. So you plug in all your customers and it will build the best, fastest, most efficient route for you. And then there's like 1 or 2 other little things, but they're not needed. What I use is free. They don't call me, they don't bug me, they don't ask me to upgrade. I don't have ads. I am so shocked that it's free. So keep that in mind if it's in your area, if you guys use that. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there, but I kind of wanted to give you a little breakdown of that. Also, number 4 is going to be, when you're buying, try to buy in bulk. Whether that be some sidewalk salt, whether you're buying a new mower and you're getting ready to upgrade. For instance, instead of buying 1 mower at a time, can you buy 2? Can you find a buddy who also needs a lawnmower and you guys just buy together, and then you bulk save and you get what's called a fleet discount. Also, you might be able to get better discounts if you bought all of your stuff off Facebook Marketplace that's used. Maybe you found a guy who's selling his entire system, his entire setup, I'm sorry, which is very common. I mean, I see it every single year on Facebook. People just sell the whole trailer. That maybe they're moving or they don't want to do it anymore. But instead of like individually buying things over the years, you can just buy it in bulk. Same thing goes for your water or your shirts, your sweaters, your hats, your merch. Anything that you can buy in bulk to help you save. And then also, to stretch your savings a little bit farther, can you buy anything with a credit card that will save you 5%, 1%, 3%? Can you get a business card? Can you get a Sam's Club card, a Costco card, to where every time you're buying stuff, it's saving you some money? I have 2 local businesses that cater to lawn care and landscaping. One of them is called Site One, which I'm sure some of you have heard of, but they do the bulk saving too. Like, instead of buying 1 sprinkler head, you buy the whole box. You're going to save yourself like 10 to 15%. And then by me signing up and being a member there, which is completely free, and just about anywhere you go, it does the same thing. The more you buy, the more you save. And those savings add up, especially if you're buying 300, 400, 500 sprinkler heads, and you're buying them like in bulk. Also, I go to Lowe's. I'm pretty sure it's the same with Home Depot, but I go to Lowe's because it's right down the street from me. If I'm on that side of town, I'll go to Home Depot, but I use my credit card for Lowe's because every time I'm in the store and I use my credit card, I get 5% cash back no matter what. And on top of the 5% cash back, I also redeem points, and these points pretty much are straight up cash. I can get gift cards, all kinds of things. And then Lowe's is huge on bulk savings. It says it all the time, like instead of buying one, if you buy like 10 of these items or 11 of these items, you're actually going to save like $1 something or $2 something per item. So it's good to think about when you're doing bulk savings. If it's something that you can do, if not, you know, it's just another tip. Hopefully it helps. Okay, my pen's dying on me. I can't check these off. Okay, and in no order, this is not in any order, this is just what I wrote down, what I thought of. Number 5 is going to be utilizing Google. Okay, I can tell you for a fact, my first year in the business, I didn't even touch Google whatsoever. Now I am fully invested in Google. I am number 1 on the Google search page for lawn care in my area. So if there's a customer within like 50 miles of here that types in lawn care or lawn service or lawn mowing or anything to do with lawn care, I'm usually top 3, but most of the time I'm sitting at number 1. There is a huge company in my area who promotes themselves all the time. He's constantly paying a Google fee to be promoted on an ad as number 1 all the time. And I have never done this, and I am always up there. But I don't consider that to be number 1 when you're just paying for the ad. Does it help him? Probably. He uses it all the time. But he's a massive company. He's been doing this for years and years and years and years. And to me, he seems like he knows what he's doing. He's got tons of clients, and he's got tons of people that work for him. I hear tons of good things about him, and I hear tons of bad things about him. For me, as a solo operator, I'd like to just keep myself focused, and I'd like to keep myself on number 1 on Google, and also I'm pretty much the face of my company, so I like to give everybody the best I can get. But with Google, you want to have a good name. I can't tell you how important it is to have a good, solid name. Like for instance, mine is it's simply just my last name, Lawn Care. There is a few names out there, and I'm not trying to point fingers or bash anybody, but it's a mouthful. Like there's a few in my local area that are like so long. It's something. It's like New Hope Best Cuts Lawn Care Landscape Service LLC. Like what? That's insane. Like just try to get it down as much as you can. For instance, a couple people like I know off the top of my head that I watch on YouTube is you got B&B Lawn Care. Hello, that's amazing. Super simple. You got Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Super simple, to the point. And then you got Spencer's Lawn Care. Super simple, to the point. And these are all huge names. You got Mac out there. Shout out to Mac. I love Mac. Your videos are great, man. Keep it up. You got Mac's. I think his is Mac. It's just huge, though. It just says Mac, and then it says Landscape and Lawn Service, but super simple. It's also when you're on Google and you're creating your name. I'll give you an example. When I first created my Google name was DeWolf Lawn Care LLC. Now, if you look at my name, it's DeWolf Lawn Care Commercial / Residential Lawn Maintenance LLC. I believe is what it is, the whole thing. And here's why. Yes, my name is DeWolf Lawn Care. If you look at any of my business cards, it says DeWolf Lawn Care. It does not say that. But what I found out, one of the tips was when you're doing a Google page and you want to stand out, you want to have those key words, because those words are what gets searched in Google when people are like, for instance, let's say there's a commercial property like a block away or 2 blocks away and they're looking for a lawn care service. I'm going to beat out anybody on the search bar who doesn't have commercial somewhere in their name. Why? Because it's a commercial property. Maybe that's what they're looking for. Maybe they typed in commercial lawn care. So anything to give you that little edge above the competition. Also, Google is free, and getting reviews is so important. If you have to give yourself discounts to your clients for Google reviews, or if you have to ask for Google reviews, ask. I do it all the time. It's so important that I have a good feedback. I actually have 35 5-star ratings already in the first year, and I have one from somebody who I've never even spoken to that's a 1-star. And that brought my thing down from a 5-star rating to a 4.9. And my guess is it's somebody else that got mad about competition, or maybe I took one of their clients. I'm not really sure. I've been told I can reach out to Google and have it removed, but I just haven't done it. But so I just got on Google this year, and I've already got 35 5-star reviews. And tell them to go into detail as much as they can. Don't just put, Brian was great, loved his service. Like, that's totally fine. But if he could say, Brian came out and mowed our grass, and he edged our property, just add those key words, those details, those matter. I even had a few clients, without even asking, they're snapping pictures of what their front yard looks like and stuff, and I'm like, awesome, because it just looks good. It looks more professional. Have very good, very professional pictures on your website as well. Take some time into it. And also, you do not need anybody to build a website for you. I'm sorry. Like, you don't need to spend that time or that money having somebody else build you a website. It's just not needed. It's so easy to do it yourself. And if you want to start a Google page, which you absolutely should, all you have to type into your search bar is Google My Business. Google My Business. Type that in. Follow the prompts. It literally just walks you right through it. But make sure you're established. Make sure you're ready to actually make a Google page. And then as far as the hours of service go, listen. Sorry, my allergies been killing me. As far as the service or the time frame goes for when your business should be open, all the big local companies in my area, they start at, oh my goodness, sometime in the morning, usually like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, sometime like that, and then they close at 5. So for me, my hours of operation, I usually start at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I go until, I think I have it down at 9 o'clock at night, 9 or 10 at night. And here's why. Nobody is going to need no one's showing up to my house needing services. So that's not a problem. Maybe for instance, let's just say like Walmart was to put their store hours in that are outside of when people are actually there, that would be a problem because people go to Walmart. Nobody's coming to my house. But what this allows me to do is, let's say somebody wakes up or they get home from work, they work 3rd shift, and their yards is just in shambles. And I've done this a million times, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get somebody out here and take care of my yard. And it's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So what do? They go on Google and they type in lawn care. And who pops up? Like 3 or 4 of us, right? Out of the 3 or 4 of us, the only person who's open, who's available to take a phone call right now is me. Now, may I be sleeping? Probably. Or if I'm awake, it doesn't matter. If I don't get their phone call, I have a very nice, detailed message on my voicemail system. It goes something like, this is Brian at Wolf Lawn Care. I'm sorry I wasn't able to reach your call right now. Please just leave me your name, your phone number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And that's usually what they do. But I can tell you right now, there's a chance I might answer the phone. And then I might be able to get that bid over somebody else. But I can guarantee you that at 6 o'clock in the morning, those companies that are not open, it's going straight to voicemail. There's a 100% chance. I've noticed that helps out a tremendous amount. If your availability hours are better than your competition. So keep that in mind. Don't just be that guy that puts 9 to 5 on everything. Mine's also available on Saturdays and Sundays, and the other companies aren't. And that's what gives me the edge over everybody else. That's what allows me to pull in more customers, more clients. Also, a little side note off of Google, shirts and hats, sweaters are very important when it comes to a lawn care business. Promoting. So let's say it's you're a solo operator. Make sure you're always wearing your shirts. I can't tell you how many clients I've picked up at Lowe's while I'm not working because I just wear my shirts around. And I'm getting some new shirts made this year. I don't really like the logo or how it's written on my shirt. I'm not a huge fan of everything being capitalized and just bunched together, so I'm moving those around this year. but just wear them. Give them to your friends. Give them to Goodwill. Donate them. Like, do what you can, but just like getting your name out there it's kind of important. So wear them when you go to the store. Wear them when you go to the grocery store. Wear your hats when you're making your YouTube videos. Like, just anything you can to get your name out there. So that's a good thing on top of the Google as well. And then for tip number 6, this is a very controversial tip. And I'm going to touch on it in just a minute because I'm already making this video too long, but I want to give you guys immense detail. And that is, tip number 6, is to keep it solo. I'm sorry, I have done so much research. And when I'm telling you how much research I've done, I got my uncle who ran a 3-person crew for 18 years. My neighbor, who's a very good friend of mine, he runs a lawn care service. I've also spoken to several other lawn care services in my area. I have multiple videos on my YouTube page of me going and talking to other big companies. My most recent one was Champagne Lawn and Land. I think that was what his name was. And I talked to the owner of that. And this guy has 5 trucks and like 5 trailers, and he does snow removal and everything. And off camera, I talked to him a little bit, and I asked him, I said, hey, what's like the biggest takeaway that I could get from you today? And he straight up told me, don't grow so fast. Don't grow fast, because it's just so many headaches all at once. You got to talk about getting employees that are going to stay, all the little things that you need to make sure that because it's your business, it's your life, it's your livelihood. It's what some of us survive on. Like, it might be like a weekend warrior that's like, all right, I can do this, like as a solo operator, or maybe it's one of you guys that are trying to get to a 6-figure company. Here's my tip for you. Use the grass cutting to your advantage. It's simple. When you pull up to a property, you got a lawnmower, a weed whacker, and some form of getting it off the pavement, the driveway, the decks, stuff like that. Usually a leaf blower is what people use. When I first started out, I had a push mower and a broom. That's all I had when I first started out. And now I'm doing very good. So solo is very, very important, okay, for so many reasons. Number one being 99.99% of the time, the person that you are hiring or the people that you're hiring don't care about the company the way you do. They don't care about the equipment the way you do. They don't care about if something gets broken. They don't care about what they dress like. They don't care about what your name looks like, how many reviews you have on Google, whether or not you upset one of your clients. They do not care. They care about clocking in, clocking out, and making that money. And I've heard of people paying $15 an hour. I've heard of people paying $20 an hour. I've heard of people like Augusta Lawn Care, who just gives people lawn care companies like as a franchise. And so like all of them are always talking about the expense of the clients, or not the clients, the employees they have. It's super expensive. And then not to mention they're unreliable. Most of the time people get another employee or more employees, it's because they grow so fast that they need the help. They got 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 clients, 120 clients, and they can't do them themselves. And so what they'll do is they'll hire somebody. And it might be great for a month, it might be great for a year, but then all of a sudden that employee leaves. And you're so used to having that extra hand that now it's crunch time. Now you're cutting clients. You're raising prices, you're struggling, you're getting bad reviews, your 120 clients that you just got in the first 3 years is just dwindling down to nothing. So what I recommend you do is you just stay solo. First year, second year, third year, 5 years, stay solo, and here's why. Here's what you can do to become successful. A lot of us get into the lawn and landscape company is because we want that freedom. We want to be our own boss. We want to make our own rules. We want to have our own vacation time. We want to be able to do whatever it is. It's the flexibility. Maybe some of you have kids and you have to drop them off at school and you have to pick them up. Like when you're solo, you have so much flexibility. When you have when you own a business and then you have other people, your flexibility kind of just went down the crapshoot. You know what I mean? Because maybe you don't want to start till 9. Maybe you don't want to start till 10. But is that okay with your employees? Like, is that okay that you just cut 2 hours off their day? Maybe you want to cut out early. Maybe you want to take a longer lunch. Maybe you want to bring your kids to school, or you take your wife out to lunch. There's so many things that might cut into their hours and might become a problem. Here is my solution. You stay solo. You do everything solo. You keep about 50 clients, 50, 60 clients, 40, 50, 60 clients, and get yourself out there. Even if it's only 40 clients, it's totally fine. You don't need to kill yourself. And here's what you should focus on instead of growing so high or so fast is getting good clients. So let's say you have one client that takes 20 minutes and you're charging them $40 an hour. But then you have another client, you're there the same amount of time, but they're paying you 60. Get rid of this client. Get rid of that one that you're paying $40 an hour. Because if you're going to hold on to them, then you got to add that time to your route. Just get rid of it. You can also raise your rates, which is totally acceptable because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not raising your rates so that you become a billionaire or whatever. You're raising your rates so that you can stay within your means. You can operate at your successful rate. So it's okay to raise your rates. It's okay to tell clients you're not taking on any more clients. You can always make your route more dense, and you can always get those prices better. For instance, you got 2 clients that you're charging $50 per cut. They both take 20 minutes. One has a push mower, one doesn't. Get rid of the push mower. You know what I'm saying? Just be efficient, and then just keep molding that efficiency. Keep molding what you have already. Don't just keep growing and growing and growing, because I can promise you, when you keep growing and growing, you're neglecting other things. Especially when you had 3 employees and 2 of them quit. Now you and that one guy, you're just pushing that one guy, and he's getting overwhelmed, and then he leaves, and now all of a sudden you got 120 clients and jobs you got to take care of, and it's just you. And then you're backed up against the wall. You're either quitting, you don't want to do it no more, you're selling your company. Go lay down. Yeah, so you don't want to get stuck up. Just running solo is the best way to go. There's definitely perks to having other employees. Like, you could grow essentially, but here's what my game plan is. When you run a solo company and you're focusing on just molding what you have, and you're making good profits and you're making good money and your clients are getting better every year, just start saving your money. Save your money, and then when you have enough money, like after the first 2 or 3 or 4 years, buy another passive aggressive, is that the word? No. So after you've saved up enough money over the years, just buy another business, like a laundromat or a car wash or some kind of online something that people do. Or you could buy real estate, you could buy rental properties, you could buy Airbnbs, you could buy rental cars. There's so many other things that you can do that won't take up too much of your time, and you can do both the lawn care and, let's say, the laundromat. Like, if you own a lawn care business and a laundromat, that laundromat's gonna make 4, 5, 10 times more than what another 1 or 2 employees on your lawn care business is gonna do. And it's definitely safer. If you ever want to take out loans, you have assets coming out of that laundromat. So that's what my game plan is. So my game plan is to just stay solo, and then after I've saved up enough money, and it's working. I've definitely saved up a ton of money. I've already bought new equipment. I've got better setups. I've got tons of videos on my page showing you where I started to where I am now. I've got 2 Right Stander ZKs now. $30,000 worth of lawnmowers, amazing trailer, great setup, beautiful truck. I'm good on equipment. Like, I don't need to buy any more stuff. But my first couple of years in the business, I was upgrading. I was making changes because I wanted to get in and out of the client's property as quick as possible, be efficient by myself. So I'm on track to getting my laundromat probably next year, because this year I have a lot of plans to pay down some debt, finish the house, and so on and so forth. But just keep that in mind. You don't need to try to grow to a 6-figure you know, and I see it a lot of people making that mistake. And yes, there are some of you out there that are being super successful, and you've got workers who absolutely love working with you, but for how long? Like, a lot of you younger kids that are getting into this industry, 16, 17, 18 years old, and you already have employees. Do you really see those employees sticking around for 5, 10 years? Probably not. And because they're going to see you growing so fast. They're going to see you succeeding, and it's going to motivate them to do the same thing, and they're eventually just going to leave. And I see it all the time. Everybody's always talking about, well, I had a guy and I don't have a guy anymore, or this guy messed up that, and then you got health insurance, payroll, all that stuff you got to take care of. It's just like so many other headaches. Like, is it worth it? Because if you hire somebody and you pay them, let's say $40,000, $50,000 a year, they need to make you like 120, 130 for it to even be worth it. Because if they're only giving you $20,000 profit over a 9-month span, it's not even worth it. Because you got to think about all the time it takes you to make all the arrangements for that employee to be an employee. You have to think about that. You have to think about all the extra time that you spent to do all the extra work to have that employee to make that 20 grand. When you can put that same time into something else and it makes you 300,000, 400,000. There's self-service car washes out there that people go to once a week for a couple of hours. And they make $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, and they're all year round. And the best part is, it only takes them 52 hours a year to do it. You know what I'm saying? You could do 2 or 3 or 4 of those. You know what I'm saying? If money is what you're striving for, if you're trying to grow a huge business, like that is a way better option to starting up a laundromat, a self-service car wash. There's a couple other ones in there that are pretty passive. Then instead of just getting another employee and trying to get that extra 20 or 30, because you got to think about when you hire an employee, how much extra profit can they really bring to your business? So just keep that in mind. I know I went on a little bit of a rant there, but I'm trying to get a really in-depth conversation with you guys. I'm trying to give you the best content that I can possible. So I really hope this helps. Just stick around. I got some more. Tip number 7 kind of goes into what we just talked about, and it's just mastering your craft. Instead of growing so fast and, you know, trying to become like the best of the best, just master what you do. Also, try to just stay in your niche. I see a lot of people out there in the lawn care industry that they're afraid to say no. You might be mowing someone's grass every week, every 2 weeks, and then she comes out and she's like, hey, can you power wash my house? And that's not something that you normally do. Or maybe you don't know how to do it. Just say no. Since I've started my lawn care business, I've built relationships with a lot of people. I know people who do fences. I know people who do power washing. I know people who do roofs, gutters. I know people who do seeding and fertilizing and weed killer. I actually have a guy that does all my seeding and fertilizing and weed killer. I have a couple of videos on that. It saves me so much time and so much money. And he's a professional and he's licensed, so I don't have to worry about going out and getting my license so I spray people's weeds. But the easiest thing to do in a lawn care business is to just cut grass. Just cut it. And if you're good with your money, if you're smart with the equipment you buy, if you keep investing into your business and do what we just talked about, like buying a laundromat or whatever in the future to make even more profits, you're going to be successful. And I think that's what a lot of us start a lawn care business for, is the flexibility to be your own boss. I think we all want to make lots of money, but if your goal is to get out here and then just grow and have 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 employees and you have 100 lawnmowers and 400 accounts, if that's what you want to do in life, do it. But for the people that just want to be successful and they don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore and they're sick of it and they just want to have some money in their bank account and they want to go on vacations with their family and stuff like that, I'm telling you, just stick to what I'm talking to you about. Stay solo, stay smart, master your craft. Be the best person at laying down stripes. Have great edges. Leave every single property the way you'd want it to look if it was your house. make sure that you're just taking care of the people you have and go above and beyond. If they have trash laying in their yard, don't be like a certain somebody who I've seen on certain videos that just kicks the trash to the side because there might be needles in it. Don't do that. Pick up the trash. I've got a couple of clients who are older, and I take their trash to their house from the road. Like if they bring it out and then I get there and it's empty, I just bring it up to them. I got an Airbnb. They're only there once a week, so I bring their trash in and out for them. No extra charge. Certain things like that. But when it comes to cutting that grass, I'm all about it. I like to mow grass. I edge the properties. I do some tree trimming and shrubs. But the best part about just cutting that grass and letting it be, I'll replace some sprinkler heads here and there when I need to, but I don't have to buy a power washer because I don't power wash. I don't have to buy the sprayers and all the weed killers and all that, the licensing and all that, because I'm not doing all that. If you want to lay down mulch, it's totally fine. But if you don't lay down mulch, then you don't have to buy wheelbarrows and pitchforks and then big old tarps or whatever it may be. That's what I'm saying. Just master what it is that you do. Become a professional at it. Be the best that you can at mowing grass. Yes, this might mean that you get less work when you first start out. Some of you might only have a handful of clients and you need the extra work. By all means, do it. But for me, I'm satisfied with all the clients that I have and the amount of work that I work each week and every day. I'm fine. I don't need to go out and buy all this new equipment so that I can service these couple of jobs I might have during the week. Is it going to bring me extra money? Yeah. But in the long run, like 5 years down the road, 3 years down the road, I can just buy a laundromat or a car wash, and then that could be my second gig. And then I can just cut grass on the side. And here's what I'm actually trying to tell you. I hear a lot, and I think I might have said it too, is that you can't be profitable cutting grass. I was so wrong. Yes, you can. If you are charging the correct prices and you're out there and you have good equipment and you're steady just mastering your craft, you will become profitable. You will become a better business and you will start turning a profit. I promise you. You would have to be the biggest idiot in the industry to go out here and mow 50, 60 accounts every week and not turn a profit. My second year in business, I finally hit 6 figures. This year, we're looking at $250,000 to $300,000 just from cutting grass. Maybe a couple of side gigs here and there. I do have some clients that like me to start up their irrigation for them, but it's super easy. Replacing sprinkler heads, super easy. The reason why I replace sprinkler heads is because it's a shovel and you're done. And I already have the box heads in my truck anyway. The reason why I replace heads is most of the time it's from somebody who I don't do lawn care for. And it kind of gets me in the door. It lets me be a people person and talk to people. Ask where they came from. Ask how long they lived here. So on and so forth. And it's a potential weekly client that I might pick up. But also, when you're staying solo and you're mastering your craft, you get to mold and shape the clients that you already have. So maybe you don't want this one over there. Maybe you want to replace it with this one that's a little bit closer, this one that pays a little bit more, this one that doesn't have a push mower, this one that always pays on time, that's super reliable. There's so many things that you can focus on doing instead of getting more people or bidding more jobs that are outside of your comfort zone. Like all of a sudden you build sheds because you're in the lawn care business. I don't know. But so master your craft. And for those of you that are just starting out, I understand that you're money hungry, but it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I don't build decks at all. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. What is my camera doing? Whoa. So for tip number 8, I have Roadside Dolly. For those of you that have tandem axles on your trailer, they have this dolly that you can pick up off Amazon. I think it's for like 20 or 30 bucks. What's it called? Oh, it's sitting in my trailer thing right now too. Something trailer rack or trailer ramp or something. But anyway, when you get a flat tire on the side of the road, you put that little block under there, you loosen up your lug nuts or whatever, and you just drive the trailer right up onto the block. And it just picks it up off the air just enough to where you can get that tire off, get it changed, and then you're in and out in maybe 10 minutes. So when you're pulling up on the side of the road, that ramp rack, you just you can drive the trailer right up on it, and then you can replace the tire just like that. It makes it super easy. It's just a little tiny ramp block, and it's just sitting in my toolbox on my trailer. And then I have two methods of taking off the lug nuts on my trailer. I keep my impact with me with the correct socket with a charged battery in my truck. It comes with me every night. When I'm done mowing grass, I take it inside with me and make sure it's charged. And then also there's what are those called? I forgot what they're called. I really did. What are the tire irons? Yes, one of those. I have one that it's the plus sign, but two of the sides fold up so that it's nice and long, and it just sits in the box as well. It's kind of like a backup if something were to happen to my impact and I can't take my tire off. But also, don't be afraid if you got an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes or whatever to just use what you have to change the tire if you haven't changed it yet. So for like practice, so you're in your driveway or whatever, you're at your house and you got a couple minutes before you're gonna get started, practice what it would be like if you got a flat tire on the side of the road. It's totally acceptable to just be prepared and be ready for what life throws at you. Because you'd hate to have a flat tire and think you have everything ready and you think you know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden you get on the side of the road and you got a flat tire and the tire iron doesn't work, or you have the wrong size socket. That would be terrible. So keep that in mind. That was number 8. Number 9. Number 9. My pen is just not alive with us today. Number 9 is going to be just charge more. The best way I can explain this is when you're talking to a client and you give them a price. Let's say you walked up to Susie and you were like, Susie, I'd be willing to cut your grass. And then you give them some stupid spiel because you're like, I'd be willing to mow your grass every single week, and I'll make sure I get the edges done, and I'll blow off your driveway, and I'll make it look super professional. Like you give them this huge sales pitch. Like, dude, just rip the Band-Aid off. Send it. If they want it, cool. If they don't, whatever. I hate when people just beat around the bush. Like, they pull up their piece of paper, and they're like, so for this and this, and it's just tell them, like, hey, Susie, $50 a week. What you thinking? Don't say it like that, but literally, be like, Susie, I'd be willing to take care of your grass or take care of your lawn care needs for you, $50 a week. If the number that you give them doesn't scare the crap out of you, it doesn't make you feel like, whoa, you ain't charging enough, okay? And then also, you do not negotiate with anybody. It's your price. If you know what you're doing and you know your worth, you have a set price. And if you walk up to Susie and you're like, Susie, $70 a week, I'll cut your grass, I'll take care of it for you, it'll be looking great. How's that sound? And she says, well, that's a bit expensive. And then you just say, well, here's my business card. If you change your name, go ahead and give me a call and I'll get you on the books. Thank you, have a great day. Walk away. That's all you need to do. And there's a reason why you do this, is because you are a business. This is not a side hustle. This is not you going out helping other people, like, don't sit there and negotiate and be like, okay, well, how about 65? And she's like, well, how about 50? And you're like, well, let's meet in the middle. And then, no, that's stupid, because if you are doing it correctly and you have a system in play that gives you what it is that you need to have to be profitable, you're sticking to it. If you look at Susie's yard and you're like, I need $70 a week, that's my bare minimum. Because there's so many things that go into why it is that you need to have that at 70. Maybe you have too many clients, which is pretty rare. Maybe you're maxed out on clients and the only way you're taking this $70 client is if you can get rid of a $65 client that has the same size. Whatever it may be. But I'm telling you right now, when you're beating around the bush and you're negotiating with your clients and you're giving them these lowball offers because you just want more clients, which a lot of us make that mistake. I made that mistake. I was yes man when I first started. People were telling me what they're going to pay me. I was mowing somebody's grass whenever they called me. Like, they would call me every 2.5 weeks, every 3.5 weeks. You know how hard it is to keep track of stuff like that when people are calling you on a random day throughout the month, like, hey, my grass is getting a bit long. So not only are you cutting overgrown grass, You're tearing up your equipment. You have no system in place. So like you and your wife want to go out on a nice date or go out for the weekend or whatever it may be, go on vacation, and this dude calls you and they're like, hey, can you cut my grass? And you're not even available. Like, come on, be more professional. Don't let people walk all over you. I promise, if you stick to these things I'm telling you, you will be successful and you do not have to worry about telling people no. Telling people no is what I do for a living. I swear. For every one client I get a yes from, I tell them 100 of them no. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way I built my business. That's the way I got to be who I am and how I got to be successful. So that was number 9. And number 10, I've kind of dabbled in a little bit. It's just do more. Do more for your clients. And I'll give you an example. Kind of like the example I already gave earlier. When your client has an empty trash can sitting in the front of their driveway, pick it up. Bring it to the front. I already know you know where their garbage can goes. If you're there every week, you know where they put their garbage can. Trust me, it does more. Don't be that guy who kicks the garbage to the side. If you're on your lawnmower and you're going by and you see a bag of trash and you have the audacity to just kick the trash out of your way and then tell yourself, well, I'm not a garbage man. I don't do that. That's not my job. You're a not nice person. Do more. Do what you can. One of the things that I do that sets me apart from my competition, like my competition's here and I'm 3 years ahead of them. I have a guy who owns a very, very successful weed fertilizing seeding business here in the area. Every time I have a client that reaches out to me and they want seeding or fertilizing or weed killer, I call up my guy. I give him the address. He gives me a quote. He just says, Brian, I'll do it for $100. Maybe he does it 5-6 times a year. He does the weed and all that stuff. He said, Brian, I'll do it for $100 a year. I'll be like, great. I love it. Let me talk to my client. I'll get right back to you. I'll go to my client. No bullshit. And I'll straight up say, Susie, I'll do the fertilizing 5 times a year. $100 per application is what my guy is going to charge me. I'll cut that in half for you. You'll have to pay $50, and then I'll cover the other $50. And she might be like, I think he's bull crapping me. And I'll show her the invoice. I'll show her the quote. I'll straight up introduce her to the person that's going to be doing the weed. It doesn't matter. And I have done this. I have done this so many times. I'm not out here just bullshitting you guys. Like, this is what I do. And there's so many reasons why I do it. Number 1, I build an amazing relationship with a very awesome person in my area who is great at what they do. Number 2, my client loves it. They're like, oh, I get a half off discount making their yard look great. Number 3, it makes their yard look great. And every single week, my truck pulls up, my trailer pulls up, my tractors are on their, my lawnmowers are on their property on a good, green, lush looking property. You got to look at it as an investment. So if I'm paying for Susie's applications to get her fertilizer down, like $50, like that's nothing. If you add that up, that ends up being $300 a year. And if Susie's going to pay me $3,000 or $34,000 for the year, however much she pays me, like, is it worth it? 100%. I would much rather have her happy, my guy happy, and me not have to go out and get the licensing, the sprayers, the extra work, you know, for laying down that fertilizer in that application. I don't have to go through all those extra steps and all those extra hoops and all that extra equipment that I got to now store and keep and buy and prepare and write down receipts for and all that stuff. I don't have to keep track of any of that. And also, I can write that off at the end of the year too if I need to. And it helps Susie out, it helps my guy out, helps me out. And then also, I'm standing on a much better looking lawn now than if Susie was to just say, I don't want to do it for 100, that's a little bit too much. And now I'm cutting grass it's thin, it's dead spots, it's not looking great, there's weeds everywhere. Like, and people are driving by and they're seeing it, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just a better looking grass. It's so much better to do it that way for $50. So I work it into my system. Maybe for you guys, you're like, there's no way, I'm not doing that. That's totally up to you. Whatever. That's just what I do, okay? Okay, so that was number 10. And then for so for a bonus tip I have here, I know this video has gone way too far, but for a bonus tip, I am no longer doing winter services, snow removal, anything like that. And here's why. It's just so up and down where I'm at. I'm here in West Michigan. It's so dampering on my business. Like, I need to have a set date where I'm like, all right, I'm not cutting grass anymore. I'm not doing fall cleanups anymore. And then I need to have a set date of, okay, this is when I'm starting my spring cleanups and this is when I'm starting my first cuts. I need to have that in my life to make my business a little bit better. Snow removal just isn't it for me. I know a lot of you are like, I have 75 accounts, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's totally cool. That's just not for me. And hear me out. This is why. I'll stack my bread so that at the end of the year, I have enough money to keep me comfortable for the off season. And this off season just happens to be Black Friday. It just happens to be Thanksgiving. You got New Year's Eve. You got New Year's Day. You got the Super Bowl. My wife's birthday happens to be in February. Then you also got Valentine's Day. You got time to buy new equipment, do some upgrades, make a YouTube channel, get your taxes right. You got time to clean up your equipment, buy new stuff. You could work on another side hustle. I love having the time off. And also, when I'm sitting here for 2-3 months and I'm not mowing grass, I'm getting excited, man. It's February now. I got another month before I can get into the lawn care again, and I'm ready to go, man. I'm so eager. I'm so excited. I'm like, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And a lot of you are probably thinking, well, I won't get the client if I don't do the snow removal service too. Cool. Tell them no. Bye. It's just not worth it. I've watched so many videos. I've seen so many scenarios where it makes sense for some people, kind of. And then for me, it's just like, it's not worth it. It's exhausting. I'd rather go down to Florida for a week vacation with my wife, my kid. I'd rather just enjoy life. This winter, this season off, I've remodeled my whole freaking house. I've got down new floors. This one I'm working on today, but I put in new floors. I put in new toilets. I'm getting new light fixtures and vanities. We're redoing some stuff here in the kitchen. I have recently just repainted all of the house. Trim. We put up new trim throughout the entire house. Hi doggies. Where I'm mounting the TV up on this wall, repainted this wall, it's black, it looks awesome. I did so many things to my house already. I made this built-in that's not done, but it's almost done. I've done so much remodeling in this house. The floors took me 3 days, that was crazy. Redid my son's room, put new trim down for him. Like I said, there was a wall right here too. I took that down last couple of days. There was actually a whole wall right here, so my wife and I knocked that out just so we could open it up in here and make it look a little bit better. And the best part is my wife and I have zero intentions of keeping this house. We plan on selling it and building a new house here in the future. There's just not enough property here for us. But if I didn't take this time off, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. As I'm looking over there, I forgot there used to be a door right here too. Yeah, right here. So there used to be, the wall used to go out like 6 more inches that way and then 6 more inches this way. And there was actually a header that ran right here. I knocked all that out. So now this hallway is like a good foot and a half wider. It's really cool. Sorry, I get sidetracked sometimes. Aluminum foil, but like I said, if I worked in the winter and if I was available to plow in the winter, I wouldn't have time to do any of this. I also bought some new equipment. I set up my new trailer. I was able to set up my office a little bit more. My taxes were great. I was able to fly through my taxes. I was super organized. I was just waiting on some stuff in the mail, my wife's W-2, stuff like that. But it gives me time to just recoup, you know what I mean? if you're super busy and you're super swamped and your garage is getting overwhelmed and your equipment's getting beat up and you're just like, oh, especially after leaf cleanups, because leaf cleanups, my goodness, if you're doing enough of them, they'll kill you. But so no more winters. I'm done. I'm not doing them anymore. I'm not waiting for, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, there's 3 inches of snow and I got to go out and do it. I'm not doing that no more. So fantastic. My battery died and I only had a couple more things to say. This video is super long. I hope that some of you guys stayed till the end, but what I was getting at was Fridays. Fridays are my days where I get out there and I get my my quotes done for people. If I can do them the day they call me, that's what I strive to do. I know it gets a little hectic for some of us, like the first couple of months in spring. I'm going to get 4 or 5 phone calls a day. I'm not kidding you, because of Facebook, which I rarely get any calls on Facebook. Because of Facebook and Google and my buyer's guide, I get tons of clients that all call me and they want lawn quotes. And this is what it sounds like. DeWolf Lawn Care, this is Brian, how can I help you? And that's so important, I can't stress it enough. There's actually somebody in my area who's got to be cheating, because when you call him from a Google, he has like 54 5-star Google reviews. When you call him and he picks up the phone, he says, hello. That's it. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? And then I asked him questions like, hey, how much do you charge to do like a leaf cleanup? He's like, $150 an hour. I'm like, how do you have 54 5-star reviews if that's how you answer? That's whatever. That's not my business. I don't care. I'm just telling you, when you answer the phone for a lawn care business or any business whatsoever, answer it with a little bit of, like you care, like you're happy to be there. So, sorry, sidetracked. So they'll call me up and I'll be like, hello, this is Brian from DeWolf Lawn Care. How can I help you? And what usually they'll say, they're like, I was wondering about lawn care needs or getting my grass cut. And they'll usually give you some story about how they threw out their back or they're not doing anything anymore, like their lawnmower took crap, whatever it may be. Just say, okay, not a problem. What was your name? And then you write down their name. And then you say, okay, and what was your address? And then you just put down their address. And then you don't have to, but because I find it to be so amazing, is I say, could you just give me like the color of your house or a couple of details that I can see from the side of the road that would just help me get into the right driveway? And then I always make them laugh, because I say, there's nothing worse than pulling up to a customer's house when they're the neighbor and you pull up to the wrong one or something like that. But it always makes them chuckle. It's a good icebreaker, whatever. But I ask them for like, hey, what is the color of your house? And then they usually tell me, or they'll say, oh, we got a huge flagpole in the front yard, or there's a camper on the side of the yard, or blah, blah, blah. And it's just like you're building this relationship right off the bat when you start talking to the customer like this. And then do the best that you can to get there as soon as you can. I cannot stress this enough. Even I have 18 clients still to this day that are weekly clients that I have got from day one solely because I came out and gave them a quote like hours later after they gave me a phone call. And I know some of you are like, that's just not possible for me. Make it possible. Push somebody else's cut 20, 30 minutes, unless you got to drive all the way on the other side of town to give somebody a quote. I get it. But try to be, and don't set yourself up for failure. Don't say, okay, I'll be there at 1 o'clock. Look for me at 1 o'clock. I'll be there. You don't have to be there. Blah blah blah. Don't set yourself up. Just give yourself a time frame, like a couple hour window, 3-4 hour window, whatever it may be, because you might run into traffic. The job you're doing might take a little bit longer, and you don't want to be late. So, kind of just give yourself a little bit of a buffer for a time frame when it comes to doing your quotes. And then when you get there, actually walk the yard. Actually talk to the customer if you can, if you don't have to. If you're on the phone and they're at work or whatever, I get a lot of Google emails. It goes the same way. Hey, this is Brian at DeWolf Lawn Care. I'd love to give you a free quote. All I'm going to need from you is the address and your name and your phone number and what color your house is. And I can look at it today if that's okay. If not, please leave me a time that works best for you. You do not have to be there for me to give you the free quote. How would you like me to send the quote? Via text, via email, or phone call? Something like that. And that sounds like a lot, but it's an email. Who cares? If you're on the phone, don't do that. Yeah, so when you're on the phone, just say, yeah, I'll come over at, sometime between noon and 3 o'clock today, if that's okay with you. And then I'll wait for a response. And like, oh, that's perfect. I love that. That works great. And that's usually the response I get. I never get the response of, oh, well, I can't be there. And if they do say, oh, I can't be there, you can straight up tell them like, hey, you can be there if you want, but you don't have to. I just need to see what your yard looks like, and then I can give you a quote. How would you like me to send you that quote? Would you like me to email it to you, text it to you, or call you? And then that's when they give you the response. And these are all things that you write down on your pen and your paper, which you should always have on your vehicle at all times, and also business cards. So, Friday is a bonus tip for those of you that can use it. Some of us have time to go out and get the quotes right away. I know last year in the beginning of the year it was crazy. I was getting so many quotes, but I took the time out of my day. I made sure I was actively cutting yards, and then I was actually out there getting these quotes done, because these quotes shouldn't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes. You should be able to pull up to the yard, scan it, look at it. If you're as good as if you're good at what you do, you should be able to do it pretty quickly. If you're relatively new and you don't really know how to price out a yard, there's like 1.5 million videos on YouTube that tell you how to price out a yard. I would literally stick to an hourly rate of something between $80 an hour and $140, depending on if you're solo or if you have people. I am more along the lines of about $100 an hour when it comes to lawn care. That's what keeps me in the business. And because I'm solo and I have so many clients, I am offering a very, very good lawn care service. So I am able to charge that top tier. So those are 12 tips for you guys. I'm so sorry this video is so long. I just really wanted to get into some detail, and I was going on a rant for a lot of things, but these are all very important things that are going to make you successful in the lawn care business, I promise. Follow along. If you are new to the channel, please leave a like, please leave a subscribe. I almost have 300 subscribers. I'm getting there, I'm climbing the ladder. This year's gonna be a banger. I have tons of other videos and content out there. My awesome trailer setup from last year to what I have now. My sweet little tips and tricks that I can give you guys. Like I said, I've been in the industry quite a while, and I know a lot of stuff, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I do a lot of YouTube videos. I have a lot of content to give you guys, and I have some great stuff to teach you guys. So just be willing to get down in there and and learn some things. So, peace.